All right. Well, good evening, everyone. Happy Tuesday. I hope you guys are all well and you're safe and healthy at home. Thank you for joining me tonight. My name is Pearl, and I am from Florida in America. And I am one of the teachers from the Milano Montenegro School. So, if it's your first lesson with me, nice to meet you. If not, welcome back. Hi, Johnny from Myes. Nice to see you too, Johnny. Welcome back. Glad you're here. What was I saying? Oh yes, my name is Pearl. I am from the Milano Montenegro School. Please say hi in the chat. I really enjoy talking to the students and it makes the lessons so much more fun and enjoyable for me and for you, I hope. And it's also a great way for you guys to practice writing in English as well. So don't be shy, say hi. Let me know who you are, where you're from. So today we are going to talk about buying a house. Buying a house. So if you have bought a house before, great. If not, this will be a great lesson for you to help prepare. In this focus activity, we will be talking about idyllic homes, looking at estate agents' techniques, choosing a property from a description. Good. So, for those of you watching, Johnny or whoever, have you ever bought a house before? I'm going to write the question. So, have you ever bought a house before? House, apartment, condo, chalet, whatever. Have you ever bought a house before? I have. I actually do have a house. I have a house in America where I am currently renting to people while I am here. Oh, have you ever bought a house before? In Italy or elsewhere? If you bought a house somewhere else, wonderful, lucky you. Have you ever bought a house before? I don't know what the prices are like for purchasing homes in Italy. I'm sure in Milan they're very expensive to purchase a home here. I am not sure about everywhere else. Hi, Bruno from Milan. Welcome. Nice to meet you. My name is Pearl. I am from Milan, not from Milan, but I live in Milan and I am from the Milano Montenegro School. Okay, so welcome. So tell me in the chat, have you ever bought a house before? I'm curious. Maybe houses are cheaper outside of the city, I'm sure. House hunting. I'm going to skip to questions. Great. So house hunting. If you were house hunting, what type of house would you look for? Ooh, second conditional. Love second conditional. If you were house hunting, what type of house would you look for? Would you prefer to live in the country or in a city? Would you sacrifice size for location? How many bedrooms would your ideal flat house have? Where do you go to buy a house? In the UK, a person who sells houses is called an estate agent or an estate agency. In America, which is what I am familiar with, we use a real estate agency or a realtor, or you can say a real estate agent. So we can also say a real estate agent or a realtor. But great. Bruno, yes, I bought a house 10 years ago. Wow, I'm sure the housing market is very different now compared to 10 years ago. I bought a flat in Milan where I have lived for a long period and in Padua where I'm living now. So wow, Giant. Wow, so both you have two houses. Lucky you. So you both have houses in Milan. Wow, lucky you. Many people have told me that owning a house in Milan is very expensive, or purchasing a house in Milan is very expensive. So lucky you guys. Good job. So let's imagine we are buying another home. You're purchasing another home. What type of house would you look for? So number one, would you look for an apartment, an actual house, or a chalet, a beach house, a boat house, maybe a ranch house? I don't know. What type of house would you look for your next house, since you both already have homes? So imagine you're shopping for another house. Hi, Luigi from Milan. Wow, a lot of people from, oh, wow, also from Milan. Great. Bruno, if I were looking for a house, I would like it with, or to have, I would like it with 2 floors, or to have 2 floors with a swimming pool. Oh, very nice. Good. 2 floors. Nice exercise, walking up those stairs. Johnny, when I moved from Milan to Padua, I sold the flat in Milan. Ah, okay. That makes sense. All right. Got it. So you have one house, but still very nice. So we're imagining we're looking for another home. And you're telling me what type of house you would look for. I think since I already own a home in America, so I think maybe I would look for like a vacation house on the beach, like a beach house. Because I'm quite content with my current home. So maybe I would look for a beach house. Yeah. Close to the water. But it's very expensive to have a beach house in Florida, where I'm from, because the insurance is very high for hurricanes, obviously. So what type of house would you look for? A mansion, a condo, a penthouse? Well, we're imagining here, guys. Penthouse, the doorman. But Bruno would like a 2-story house with a swimming pool. It sounds wonderful. Wonderful. Great. While we're waiting, would you prefer to live in the country or in a city? And would you sacrifice size for location? So, number 2, would you prefer to live? Conditional, if I had to choose between only the country or the city, I would choose the city, I think. And in doing so, choosing the city over the country, I think I would have to sacrifice size for the location. If I had to choose between only the country and the house, I think I would country, not the house, country and the city. I would choose the city, and therefore I would have to sacrifice size for the location. Johnny, I prefer to live in a livable city, people-oriented. Bruno, definitely prefer to live in the city. Yes, I like living in the city, right? Why, Bruno, why do you prefer to live in the city, right? Yeah. Everyone else, Luigi, tell me, would you prefer to live in the country or a city? A livable city. So, Johnny, is Milan a livable city, people-oriented? Yeah, I think so. It's pretty livable to live here. A lot of people live here. It depends on work, probably. Luigi says it depends on work, probably, because if I had to move every day with several modes of transportation or means of transportation, I prefer to live in the city. That is true. Work is a very large factor when deciding where to live, right? I think, if I had to choose. Hi, I don't think is your name Free Zero? I'm gonna say Free Zero because that's what I see, but tell me your name if you would like. Hi, I like house hunting. I like house hunting. I look for a business market. I like to buy a country house and I sacrifice size for location. Oh, you like to buy a country house. Well, if you buy a country house, you could have a lot of space, and that'd be great. Country houses are always really wonderful, Bruno, because you can find anything you want. That is true. The city is very convenient and very comfortable sometimes to live in a city. But personally, I would like to live between the city and the country, which we have a word for in English. Maybe you all know. It's that area that's on the edge of the city, not exactly in the country, but the edge, the border. So we have that area we have a word for in English. So it's not the city center, but it's not the country. It's in between. It's usually on the border or the limit of the city. It starts with an S. This is where I prefer to live, and actually my home in Florida is actually located in this type of area. These are unmarked. I really don't care about bedrooms, but you care about a garden. Normal size to live, sure. Okay, well, so you don't have a lot of necessity. You want the basic necessities, right? Johnny, in a city because you have the advantages offered by a city like events, exhibitions, but not a big city with the negatives of a stressful city. Huh. So maybe not Milan, exactly. Not as big as Milan, but a little bit smaller. So I think what I'm trying to describe to you guys falls into this category, Johnny. So it's not the country, it's not the city, it's this area outside the city center. It's usually on the limit or the border of the city. And true, I lived in London. The city is very crowded. Is better something between city and outside area. Yes. So in English, I don't know if you guys know, I'm going to write it. It's called the suburbs. The suburbs. So the suburbs is the area, not in the city center, not in the country. So you are away from the city, but not too far. Usually it's on like the limit of the city. I think in Milan, maybe like San Donato is like the suburbs, or Sesto San Giovanni could be considered the suburb. So it's not really the city center, but it's not really the country. That's where I would prefer to live if I had to choose. But between a country side or the city, I would prefer the city if I had to choose between those two. But in general, I prefer the suburbs because you have access to both worlds, nature and events and amenities in the city, the suburbs. All right. Good. Number 3, how many bedrooms would your ideal flat or house have? In my ideal house, how many bedrooms would I have? For me, my house, I would like it to have, my current house in America has 3 bedrooms, but I think I would like to have 4 bedrooms in my ideal house because I have a very large family. And so when they come to visit, they will have space to stay. So I think 4 is nice, good amount for me. But for you, gentlemen, Bruno, Luigi, Johnny, Mark, how many bedrooms would your ideal flat have? Your perfect flat. Johnny, I would say 2 bedrooms and 2 baths. Perfect. Sometimes you don't need more. What makes sense? So a private bathroom maybe for every bedroom. That's nice. Good. Anyone else? Mark, Luigi, Bruno, how many bedrooms would your ideal flat house have? Or maybe your current house already has the amount that you want. Bruno, I would like a house with 3 bedrooms, a large kitchen, a large living room, a swimming pool, and a beautiful garden. Well, that sounds lovely, Bruno. That sounds lovely. I would like that as well. A swimming pool is very important. I am understanding this for you. A swimming pool is a necessity. It is very nice. It is a luxury, I think, to have a private swimming pool. But yes, it is very nice. Hi, Tiziana from Venice. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining. We're talking about our ideal house now. So how many rooms would your ideal flat house have? I said 4 because I have a large family. And my house would be in the suburbs. Nice. While I am waiting for your answers to come through to the chat, I am going to move on to number 4. This is interesting because I am not familiar with the Italian housing market, so I actually don't know where a person would go to buy a house. Do you go to an agency? Is there a popular agency, or is there a website that's really popular? I don't know. So I am actually very unfamiliar with the buying process of a home in Italy. So any information you could share would be wonderful in case one day I want to buy a house in Italy. So where do you go to buy a house? In America, usually there are many real estate or estate agencies, and so you can usually contact or find a realtor or real estate agent, and you tell them what you want, and they kind of look for you. But in more recent years in America, there are many websites that have been created to help people search for homes. A really popular one is, if you're looking to buy a home in America, is Zillow.com or Zillow.com, or I can't remember the other one, but Zillow is really popular in America, and you can like search the area and houses that are available. Yeah, so how do you find a house, or how do you buy a house in Italy? Let me know for the future. Tiziana, I would like a house with 3 bedrooms, a big kitchen, a living room, and 3 bathrooms. Wow, 3 bathrooms, wonderful, good. A bathroom for every bedroom. I guess I would, this is hypothetical, I guess I would go to a realtor. You should go to a realtor. Most people should, I think. Or estate agents, yes. Yes, usually you can find one. When I moved houses, I tried to be in touch with the seller, but it's not easy in general. Therefore, you are obliged to go to a estate agency. Okay, so what I'm understanding here in Italy is that it's more common to go to a estate agency or real estate company to help you purchase a home. So you really can't do it alone or without help. And Mark says, in Italy, we use a mix of both. I mean, you can go to the agency or you can negotiate privately with the buyer. Huh, that's interesting. That's good. That sounds great. I'm glad you have the option of both, but I think it's very similar. It sounds like it's very similar to America, where usually people go to a real estate agent just because I think the convenience of having someone manage the paperwork and the process for you is really nice. I used a real estate agent and she was great. Okay, but good to know. I remember that in Italy, I need to find a real estate agent in case I want to buy a home here. Not anytime soon. All right, real estate euphemisms. What a great word, euphemisms. Often real estate agents use euphemisms to make properties sound more enticing. Match up what the estate agent says to what you think it really means. We have lively area, idyllic, great potential, studio flat, period property, a cupboard, noisy neighborhood, isolated, more than 10 years old, run down. Good. So we have some euphemisms. Remember, euphemisms are a nicer or more polite way to say something that is really negative or not as nice, right? Johnny says, avoiding the estate agency means saving money. That is true. No commissioner fees. That is true. There's so much more work to do it alone. I don't really have time for that. Mark says agency taxes are higher, so if possible, it's better privately, but it's not easy. It's not easy. So yes, the taxes in Italy are a little bit higher than in America. So I don't know, maybe it is better to find agents for me. But good. So this next activity, we're going to match the euphemism, which is on the left to the real meaning, more or less, on the right. So a lively area. These are great words to look out for in case you were buying a property in an English-speaking country, especially in America or Great Britain. So lively area, idyllic, great potential, studio flat. Lively area is actually a euphemism that I've heard quite frequently, especially when looking for apartments when I was in university. Lively area. And I always knew what they meant when they said lively area. But when I was in university, it wasn't a big problem. But now that I'm older, I try to avoid areas that are too lively. Right, Bruno, Johnny, lively area is a noisy neighborhood. Yes, correct. Noisy neighborhood. A lot of life there. A noisy neighborhood is probably noisy because there is a lot of life, a lot of activity, restaurants, bars. I actually live in a lively area now, but it's okay because I enjoy it. Johnny says idyllic is isolated. Yes, Bruno agrees. Good job. Great potential. Great potential. Johnny says run down. Great potential. Yes, it is run down. When something is run down, it has the potential to be great if you have the money to make it great, to renovate. Studio flat. I don't know if studio flat is necessarily a euphemism because a studio can just be one room. It's one room. So usually if you're searching for a studio, you know that it's going to be small. Like Johnny says, a cupboard. Yes, a studio flat, a cupboard. It's not necessarily the same as a cupboard. I mean, a cupboard here is like a metaphor for a small apartment. Tatiana, a period property more than 10 years old. Good. Would you all use any of these words to describe your current home? Would you use any of these words to describe your current home? My current home in Iran is in a lively area, but it's not idyllic. I think my home now in Iran has great potential. Would you use any of these words to describe your home? Maybe, maybe not. Sometimes I don't think lively, is so bad. Yeah. All right. Well, no, I'm just going to continue while I wait for your comments to come in. All right, more euphemisms. So we have cozy, which is a very popular euphemism that is used by agents. Tatiana says, my house is just a little more than a cupboard. Oh, well, I hope not. But if you're happy with it, then great. I'm happy. Yep, studio flat is a small apartment, yes. Usually a studio is just one large room. There are no walls to separate the kitchen from a bedroom, from the living room, right? So a studio flat is usually just one large room. Hopefully the bathroom is separated. But continuing, so more euphemisms: cozy, unique, secluded, basic, good transport, connections, good transport connections. And then we have unfurnished, cramped, small, bizarre decoration, get used to traffic noise in the middle of nowhere, and then get used to traffic noise. So we're going to match up these euphemisms on the left to their meaning, more or less on the right. So cozy. Johnny, my flat in Milan was similar to a cupboard. You know, that is a common description for many apartments in large cities like New York, London, Milan. So yes, I'm sure it is a sacrifice we make to live in the city, to live in a cupboard, but to live in the city. Right, Johnny, cozy is cramped or small. Yep, good. Unique. Sometimes you can use unique as a euphemism to describe some people. So maybe if you're trying to set up your friends together and they ask you what your friend is like and they're a little unique, you can use unique. Bizarre decoration. Or yeah, bizarre, a little harsh. I say like a little strange. Yeah. Bizarre just seems a little bit stronger. So it's a little strange. Good. Cozy when an apartment is welcoming. Yes, cozy. Sometimes cozy is not a euphemism, Bruno. Yes, and it means that it's very welcoming, it's very warm, and it's very comforting, right? So sometimes cozy is not a euphemism, and it can actually mean that. But if we're trying to cover or disguise an apartment as cramped and small, we could use cozy. But yes, it is also a regular. Basic is unfurnished, unique, bizarre decoration, secluded in the middle of nowhere. Good job. Good. Unfurnished. Good transport connections. Last. I don't know if I agree that good transport connections necessarily is a euphemism to get used to traffic noise. Some places just have good. I would just say that it's a lively area. If there's a lot of noise, I would just say it's lively, whether it's from traffic or from activities of bars or stuff like that. And I also wouldn't say good transport connections. I would be more inclined to say well connected, which sounds better to me. The house is well connected. There's a lot of options for travel. Yeah, so I don't really agree that good transportation could be a euphemism. Any type of noise, I would just say that it is lively for me. Good job, guys. Yeah, John, and good transportation, get used to traffic noise. All right. All right. Oh, sorry, I have to go upload. Thanks for your teaching. All right, Mark, have a good night. Thank you for joining. So next, real estate techniques. So what are the strategies that real estate agents or I don't know the British one, real estate agents use to sell you a house? So I'm going to read. Estate agents have to make their houses stand out from others using descriptions alone. They must first entice a future purchaser to the house, and they commonly do this with linguistic devices such as hyperbole and euphemism, describing the good points of the house to best advantage and trying to make the bad points sound like benefits. Since different kinds of houses appeal to different people, it is not always easy to know which aspects are best to highlight. So the estate agent tends to go for overkill, proclaiming every possible feature as if it were a virtue. Great, a lot of great words in there. A lot of great words in this text. If you have any questions on vocabulary, of course, please ask in the chat and I will do my best to explain them to you. But there are some words I do want to point out, like overkill. What a great word. So what does overkill mean? Not overfill, that wrong. What does overkill mean? What does overkill mean? Sometimes instead of saying overkill, we can actually say overboard. Overboard. Overboard, which means the same. So what does overkill mean? Yeah, overkill is like an exaggeration. It's too much. They do too much, right? So they tend to go for overkill. So they tend to do too much. It's too much. We're at the point it's a negative. So when you do too much work, or for example, if someone wears a lot of makeup and it's so much makeup, it's so bad, but it's meant to be good, but it's too much, it makes it bad. It's overkill, or they went overboard. So yes, it's a negative exaggeration. It's too much of something, right? So overkill. Good. Let's try some other great words. Ooh, what does entice mean? Entice is also a great word. What does entice mean? What does entice mean? This is a wonderful word. What does entice mean? Sometimes certain companies, they offer sales or promotions to entice you into buying their product, right? Not introduce, not necessarily introduce, but you're getting close. Oh yes, so yes, entice, Johnny, is to attract or tempt someone, right? So if companies offer promotions or coupons for their products, they're trying to entice you, they're trying to tempt you or attract you to their products, right? Good job, Johnny. Good, to attract. Any other words? I think that's all the other words I want to bring your attention to. But of course, if you have any other questions with vocabulary, let me know. Let's continue. All right. So now we are going to read 4 property descriptions. You can't see the picture, so you need to use your imagination. And then at the end, I want you to tell me which house you would buy after reading their descriptions. Okay, so I'm going to read the first one. Property number 1, we're going to imagine. Property number 1, placed in the prestigious suburbs. Remember, suburbs is that area between the city and the country. Placed in the prestigious suburbs, this classic 3-bedroomed house arranged over 2 floors offers well-proportioned basic living space in a lively area. The property comprises a spacious living room opening onto paved area of large. This is not worded correctly. The property comprises of a spacious living room opening onto a paved area with a large private garden, contemporary kitchen, dining room, study, master bedroom, suite, 2 guest bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. Churchmount benefits from its close proximity to Monterey and Reeve Heights golf clubs. It's really hard to read this description. Bruno has a question, yes. Can I say euphemism that when a person lies is a real estate? In English, we don't we don't call a liar a real estate agent. It's actually more common to use a different profession. And the profession is a used car salesman. So if you call someone, he's like a used car salesman, it's kind of like a metaphor, not metaphor, but it's a euphemism for someone who isn't always honest. So in English, we don't use a real estate agent, that profession, when we're trying to describe someone who is a liar or who says a lot of exaggerations and uses a lot of different words to distract from the real problem. So we would say a used car salesman. instead. That's the profession, in America at least, that we would use instead of a real estate agent. But that's a good question. Good. So property number 1, sounds like a good home. Could you repeat, please? Can I repeat about the real estate agent or the property auction? I'm going to repeat the real estate agent. I think that's what you mean, Johnny. So I think Bruno was asking if we call someone who lies a real estate agent, is it a euphemism? It's not a common one in English. We wouldn't use a real estate agent, that profession, as a euphemism for a person who lies. Instead, in America at least, we would use the profession of someone who sells used cars. So a used. It's the profession we would use instead. So no, we wouldn't use. But great, good question. Great. Is that clear, Johnny? If not, I will try to repeat again. But yes, so in short, in America, a used car salesman could be a euphemism for a person who lies. Okay. Or a lawyer. Sometimes we use lawyers too, but it's fine. Okay. So property number 1, this place sounds wonderful. 3 bedrooms, 2 floors. Sounds like a good house for Bruno. Does it have oh, but it doesn't have a pool. I don't know, Bruno. Maybe this house is not for you. You're not sure. But it sounds wonderful. Well proportioned, basic living space in a lively area. We know what that means. Onto a private, ooh, with a private garden. Maybe you can install a pool. Temporary kitchen, study mount. Church Mount benefits from its. So I believe Church Mount is the name of the area the home is located in. Sounds like it's in California. That's Monterey Beach. Great. So that is property number 1. Remember it. We're going to read a few more. All right. Property number 2. A rare opportunity to purchase a custom cottage in a stunning location. Perched on the edge of a cliff, you'll be greeted every morning by the soothing sound of the ocean and have endless opportunities to gaze at the beautiful horizon. Ooh. This cozy and unique property offers the opportunity for a peaceful way of life. Only a 15-minute drive from the quaint local village. You really can live the best of both worlds. Oh. Excellent apartment. I would also do without the church. Yeah, it's not necessary, but it's there in case you need it, right? Okay. So this is property number 2. It sounds very idyllic. It sounds very tranquil, this property number 2. I think it sounds nice. See, it sounds like you're on the cliff, right? On the edge of a cliff. Hopefully there is a gate or a fence to protect you from falling over. But you have the sound of the ocean, beautiful horizon, so I'm sure you will see wonderful sunrises and sunsets. It sounds more like a vacation home for me. I don't think I would want to live there all the time. It's a 15-minute drive from a quaint local village, not a city, but a village. I don't know. I think this would be a nice vacation home for me. Maybe for you guys. I don't know. All right. No questions. Remember, any questions on vocabulary, please ask in the chat before I continue. All right. Number 3. This is a property of great potential with peculiar grace and distinction, situated in a quiet, idyllic location and only a 10-minute drive from the thriving town of Tweethorn. You couldn't ask for a better location. This elegant 8-bedroom residence is magnificently furnished, and the many windows provide all the rooms with an abundance of light. It also includes a sweeping private garden, making it an ideal family home. Wow, 8 bedrooms. I don't know what I would do with 8 bedrooms. That's too much for me. Sometimes when you have too much of something, you don't know what to do with it. Also sounds like a lot of cleaning, and that's not something I want to do. 8 bedrooms. How many bathrooms are there though? That's important. So this sounds, but it's with peculiar, which is also another great word for strange or bizarre, unique, right? Peculiar grace and distinction. It sounds like like a period home. It sounds like an older home to have distinction, right? I think 10-minute drive from the thriving town, but 10-minute drive from a town, not a city. I don't know. Need to be. It's probably very big because it's a little isolated because it's very hard to have a house with so many rooms in a area that's concentrated with a lot of people or homes. So I'm imagining this house is very far away where there is enough space to have 8 bedrooms and hopefully 8 bathrooms, 4 bathrooms. All right, last one. Property number 4. Beautifully appointed, this period secluded beach house features 3 cozy bedrooms complemented by a ground floor design that creates a natural breezeway through the home with potential to add a pool. The thoughtful open plan is perfect for family relaxation. The idyllic location guarantees stunning sea views and has the beach literally on the doorstep. Well, wow. Bruno, this house has a pool and has a pool and a private garden. Does it have a private garden? No, there's another one. But it has a pool, and I know that's important to you. No, it doesn't have a pool. The potential to add a pool. Sorry, I was too excited. Great. So now that we have read all the descriptions of the 4 properties, hopefully you remember. We had the first one, which had 3 bedrooms, was 2 floors. And then we had the second one, which was on a cliff that you could see the horizon and hear the ocean breeze. We had the third one that had 8 bedrooms and peculiar grace and distinction. And then we have this one, which is a secluded beach house with 3 cozy bedrooms. And sounds like it has a very open space to have a lot of breeze. So, which property would you buy? Now that we've read it, which property would you buy? I already cheated because I saw the photos. But I would say number 1, just because I don't want to be away from life for a lot of activity, and most of these houses sound like they're away from city life, or their city is a town and it's very small. I don't know. So I would think I would prefer the first one. Tiziana, Giuseppe, number 4. Okay. Because it's near the ocean, isn't it? It's important. It's near the ocean. Tiziana, because you love the sea. Yes, we love it. But remember, number 2 is also near the sea. But maybe it's more of a journey to get to the sea because the house is on the cliff, but it's there. But number 4, all right, Bruno, what house would you choose? I think I would still choose number 1. Yeah, because when I think about all the things I need to do, like having a house on the beach, I need to think about home insurance, and usually houses on the beach have higher insurance rates. Okay. I prefer the 4th. On the base of the description, number 1 sounds good and interesting. I think so on the description because it's not so far. It's on Monterey is in California. It's a wonderful beachy town. The Monterey Bay Aquarium is wonderful there. But good. So on the basis of description, number 1. Number 2 seems to be very small. It did seem a little small. I think they said cottage was the word they used because a cottage is usually very small. Right, good. But most of you prefer the fourth. Let's see. Okay, we have decided. Okay, so now I'm going to show you the photos. So this is property one. I cheated. I saw the photos already. But this seems like a typical house you would see in a very affluent neighborhood in like California or Florida. See in an affluent house you would see in California or Florida, which sounds great. Contemporary kitchen, dining room, a lot of space. I have a large family, so this would be very nice to entertain people, I think. All right. Next, I'm impressed by number 4, but I prefer to see the picture. We will see all the pictures. Don't worry. Number 2. Oh, number 2 is kind of cute. Custom cottage. It looks like, see, when I imagine cottage, I imagine something like from a storybook, very old and rustic. But this cottage actually looks kind of modern. It doesn't look so terrible, right? I think this would be a nice home, like a getaway home to escape to. Bruno, my dream is to live in Southern California. Southern California is California is a wonderful state, Bruno, but it's very expensive and they have many problems with natural disasters. If there's fires and there's earthquakes, but the beach is there and they have mountains and a desert. California is a wonderful state. I don't know if I would live in Southern California, but I would like to be able to go there very often. But yeah, property number 2 isn't terrible. Property number, nope, sorry. Property number 3, okay. So I said earlier that I imagine property number 3 to be a little bit old and a period home, and I don't think I'm entirely incorrect. It looks like a older home because of the architecture and the details of the house. But again, how many bedrooms? But it has 8 bedrooms. So this is definitely a house with great potential if you have the funds to renovate and restore it. It seems like a ghost house. It seems like a haunted house. It definitely does. And that is enough to convince me not to buy a house like this because I don't like scary movies and houses like these are always in those films. A good point, Tatiana. I would avoid this house. The last one that you guys all chose, the ranch style house. Oh, it looks nice. A lot of open space. The house looks very large, right? Because you have a breezeway, a lot of big windows to let the air come in, which is very nice. And you have lights in the roof to let the sun come in. It's a very nice house. Good choice, guys. Now that you have seen the photo, are you happy with your choice or would you like to change it? Patio door. I'm sure the scenery, I think the photo is taken from the beach, and so behind or in front of the house is the beach. Oh, this is very nice. This would be my second choice. So now that you've seen the properties, are you happy with your choice? Tiziana, I'm very happy with my choice. Wonderful. It is wonderful. It's a great house. 3 bedrooms, a lot of sunlight, a lot of wind. Sounds like a great vacation home, right? Johnny, I'm ready to sign the contract for number 1. Me too. Bruno, the number 3 seems like a house of ghosts. It does, right? Perfect. But so we said number 4. Are you guys happy? Tiziana is happy. Johnny likes number 1. We changed. I like number 1 too. But number 4 is okay. Could be the second option, right? The commissioner of Montalban House facing the sea. Is this what this house is, Bruno? Is this his real house? I don't know. I'm not sure. Well, he's very lucky if this is his real house. Must be very nice to have the funds for that. I would imagine. But all right, we are at the 51 mark. Ooh, a little bit over. But thank you, Tatiana, Bruno, Johnny, for watching and talking to me. I really enjoyed this lesson. I hope you did as well. I hope you have a good evening and a good rest of the week, and that you stay healthy, you stay safe inside, and hopefully I'll see you guys again. Probably I don't have any more webinars this week, so maybe next week. But that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Bye, everyone.